Episode 21 of Karandrin role playing. What? It is. It's episode 21. What were you going to say, Max? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
I just said we're still here. Try to get rid of us.
That's right. You can't stop watching. So hey, welcome to Karandrin Role Playing. I'm Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir. I will be your game master and host for the evening. And here for episode 21, once again, is my good buddy Max playing the ever adventuresome and beautiful Brise. Say hello to the beautiful people.
Hello, everybody. I didn't know adventuresome is an adjective. Adventurous.
You don't know a lot of stuff.
Yes, this is true, but I know how to role play.
You don't. You are.
21 episodes. I'm still alive, so
that's right. Welcome
back, everybody.
Welcome back. We did some a little, not behind the scenes stuff. You and I were just talking about behind the scenes stuff. We did some off stream stuff that wasn't quite as dramatic. It was more information gathering, and you guys may have remembered from last week. He and I talked about doing that, and so he was exploring this abandoned estate in the mountains of Narguz, the Goblin Nation, and one of the peoples who used to occupy this land, they used obelisks to tell sort of the history of their family in symbols, both good and bad moments in their family's lives. And he had come across this phenomenon before in a hilly region to the west, but here in the mountains he's encountered it again. And so we sort of went back in time off screen, and Brise explored some of the obelisks that he had found in the area. Mm-hmm. And so Max, you want to cover some highlights, and I'm going to hop over to the map and just show people sort of the layout that we've now got going on.
Yeah, so the obelisks themselves depict a lot of family histories of different houses. Kind of discern that each one belongs to a single house, kind of depicting events predominantly with that house. Some interesting events here where on like one of the obelisks was a House Braca, it was called, which had a lot of breaking and joining with other houses, which I'm not sure if that meant like marriages or deaths or even like trade, in those type of relationships. And all of them had like different symbology. Interestingly, both of them had a bird gazing up at 3 stars. I saw at least on 2 of the obelisks. And what that symbology means, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out today. Maybe we'll never find out. It's a Karandrin role playing for you. But that's about it.
Yeah. So he's learned something about sort of the trials and travails of these families in these areas. Although the real significance of that we don't know. You guys may remember last time that I did just a shitty map.
Well, that is an understatement.
Because I couldn't get Affinity was going nuts on me, and I couldn't get it drawn in Affinity. And so,
but this more than makes up for it. This is beautiful.
That's right. So this is the new sort of map you can see, and it's a little small to me, but hopefully you guys can see it better on your computer screens and so on. So the mansion is a courtyard style mansion. Sort of like some Spanish manners of a particular era, though I couldn't tell you exactly what era that was, where you have an interior courtyard, and essentially what you've got is a long rectangle with that are hallways for family and staff, but they all share a courtyard. There's a green triangle down below. You can see right above the long rectangle that is the stables. The green rectangle will be Brise this evening. And the red triangle is that's right.
And in the other corner,
And in the other corner, with the other three corners, is will be whatever threats we have, and if we need to label those, then we'll label those. We'll just let the chat decide if it's clear enough. And so I'm gonna hop over and just to show you the other part of the map that we know about. And as you know, Brise and the creatures move, I will move them in. So there you have. These are three guest houses here. I know there's not much to look at yet, but these are the three guest houses that we guess are here. They're about 60 foot by 60 foot. They're quite large. I mean, that would be a 3,600 square foot home just with one floor. These are 2-floor buildings. These black dots here represent obelisks, and I should speak. And Max, you should take note of this too. These are obelisks, suspected obelisks that Lala, your songbird familiar, she suspects that these are obelisks as well.
right?
Um, and so when last we left off, you had just been stunned by this crawling sort of half man, half maggot kind of creature.
Yeah.
It's a scrawny humanoid, bald, rather severe face, almost emaciated, large clawed hands, but just a very scrawny, gaunt-looking being. And the you had heard it move in the stables, sent Lila over to investigate, found the creature sort of in the one far end of the stables, right by where it is now. And you had observed it. You were going to sneak up on it, try to draw it out to dispatch with it. You thought you had remained hidden. It had cast some sort of very strange magical spell in which there's this hovering orb that came out of its mouth and is now floating nearby. And it spotted you as you were creeping nearer it, and it sent a blast of bluish light at you. You are now stunned 3 rounds, and now we are in an exciting affinity a lot. I won't be watching the stream, so anybody chatting and so on, you might yell at Max to read to me what you're saying so that I can just manage affinity and move, move Brees around.
Yeah,
I'm running.
If you need to say something, just give me a call at 123
1-900. So that's where we are.
Indeed.
So there are a number of windows, ground floor windows of the mansion. If should you need a real place just to dive and escape, you can also dive into any of the open stables. There's sort of windows that open up there, and you could throw yourself into one of those.
Yeah.
The carriage house easily holds. Just looking at the door count, it easily holds 3 carriages, and the doors are facing you. Okay, so they're on that side of the building facing you.
Yeah.
The outbuildings you've not yet really examined. Maybe I should move this over a little bit. And this area is moderately wooded, but it's got a tall grass and occasional brush everywhere. But the tall grass is in particular very, very prominent.
Right.
Um, so, so you are stunned 3 rounds.
Which means, if I recall, I can't cast spells or attack, but I can still like move.
You can cast non-combat spells.
Oh, okay.
You can move up to half your max. Which is to say, to give you an idea, like, your best speed's going to be about 20, 25 of those little squares. You may not quite be able to see that. But how about this? 20 of your little green triangles or so. And of course, I can just run a line, and you can just ask and
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
But you're going to be, it's being dazed. It's being a little out of it, and so you get a penalty for all your actions.
So here's the thing: is sleep a combat spell? Do you mean any spell?
No, it is
on
not
me?
a combat spell.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to try to cast sleep on it.
Well, let's first roll for initiative.
Okay. 50. Right down the middle.
All right, and you're aiming to cast sleep, and I need to decide an action for it.
If everyone remembers, when I battled that giant spider in the mines, sleep pretty much saved my bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bacon, Kevin, we have Karen says you're freezing quite a bit here. Your connection is buggy.
Let's check.
You look okay to me, but
I am mysteriously only about half the number of bars I should be.
somebody hijacking your Wi-Fi.
No, well, I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm plugged in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's blinking away happily over here, but I know that doesn't mean anything. Other than it's getting some ping here and there. So, how much power are you going to put into this spell?
Let's put in. Actually, yeah, good point. I haven't checked my PowerPoints recently.
So for for anybody who's sort of mechanically minded, although Karandrin tries to pull away from the mechanics and just let it be a story. Basically, you can add power to any sort of spell that influences someone, and it makes it more difficult to resist the effects of the spell. Everyone has a natural resistance to being influenced by magic that they don't want. So
it's 7th level. I'm going to add 5 more points to it. So we'll do it at 12th.
Okay. 12th level. Let me, get out a little happy chart here. We should look at his range. What's the range on the spell?
It's 50 feet plus 10 feet of level. So that should be well over 100.
Yeah. So yeah, he's right within your range. But just keep in mind, you move too far back, then you're going to miss him. He's going to be outside of your range. All right. Roll it up, cowgirl.
Here we go. 76.
Very nice. Lose 12 power points and exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to let you roll his attempt to resist.
So I'm rolling his attempt to resist. Okay.
Yeah. So you want low.
He rolled a 0.
Dang it.
I mean a 1.
That's right.
Okay. He rolled it. He rolled a 2. I'm not lying.
That is fantastic.
Nice.
It is slow in taking effect. He shakes his head. He tries to slide back some in retreat, and he slumps against the doorway.
All right.
Now, from your studies of this spell, because that's one of the things that the spell books talk about beyond just how to cast, is it really does inform you. This is a natural sleep, okay? So
wait a sec. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about this. I need to label this. But that's not a spell I know. I would have to take the tome out. Seems a
that's
little.
fine.
Is that okay? Could we have said I pulled that out or whatever
Yes, I
penalty
think
for that?
so. You just have to. So you just have to re-equip quietly because, so he is naturally asleep. Okay,
Right.
so if it rains, he'll wake up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
If you are creeping up on him and you step on a branch, there's a chance he's gonna wake up. Had he fallen asleep and banged his head, he could have woken
Right.
up.
Right.
But he's just sort of slumped against the stables. Um,
So my plan is to, once the stun wears off, I'll creep over there quietly and try to give him a death blow with my spear.
well, it'll probably by the time you creep over there, um, it will be, yeah, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So roll it up, roll some sneaky sneak, and just don't disturb this guy. I mean, you're not really trying to. I'm gonna give you a bonus because you're not really trying to not be seen. You're trying not to be heard,
Right.
which is
I can look at my feet and like make sure I'm step on
yeah.
anything. 88. Very nice.
And one more.
91.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
there he is. Um, yeah, you're gonna have to step a bit into his slime to reach him, but there he is.
Sure.
And um, um,
Now it's an interesting thing. I don't know this creature's anatomy, but I'm assuming the chest, would be a good place to
sure, head.
stab him
I mean,
through.
I don't know if have you ever read? Have you read the Iliad?
Yeah. I mean, like excerpts from like high school, not the full thing. But
We read the whole thing in our freshman year in our high school, and man, the battle descriptions, good
yeah.
grief, where the spear point comes from behind, slices through his tongue, and bursts through his teeth.
Oh my gosh. I don't
And
remember reading that.
that is not an uncommon one.
Wow.
I mean, you're talking about 2 or 3 pages of those kind of descriptions for that day of battle.
Wow.
I mean, like he
Brutal.
lost his arm and part of his leg. So and so killed so and so by taking his sword and plunging it through his gushing neck. I mean, it was just sort of this almost clinical description. But the one I just always remember is it coming through the back of his head, coming out of through the back of his head, um, into this back of his head, slicing his tongue off, and then the spear point bursting through his teeth.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Jeez.
wow. I mean, that's definitely someone who has seen that era of Bronze Age battle, basically.
Well, you are the GM here, so you got to top him, top Homer.
That's right. Well, I
Oh,
think I already have. Let's be honest. Oh, yeah. Then the great line that's relevant now. I don't know if you've ever heard this. This is a great. I love this line. It was a famous saying, especially in medieval and Renaissance, which is "Even Homer nods." Do you know that line? Have you ever heard that expression?
no,
Um,
even he
even
knows.
Homer nods means even Homer, falls asleep at the wheel.
Oh,
Even the greats make mistakes.
yeah,
And here you are. Here's your Homer nodding away.
yeah.
So just roll a non-fumble and kill him for me, would you?
Okay. 84.
Yes, just dead. Um, your boot, though, is beginning to hiss in the mire that is his ooze.
Well, let's take that out of there.
You spring back from that. Apparently, it's weirdly caustic, not affecting the grass for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, um, but not a friendly material.
Right.
So he is DED. His slime covers, of course, the end of the stables.
Yeah.
Um, um, looking in, you can see weirdly neat stacks of coins that he has up on like a ledge.
Oh my gosh.
Um, there is a bit of gold, Quite a bit of silver, bronze, and copper. And he has them stacked in little towers like poker chips, very neatly and sorted by, essentially for him, color. I mean, I don't know. It could be denomination, but he doesn't know it that way, probably. So,
I'll take the gold.
my point is, it's covered in slime.
Oh, is it? Oh,
That you would have to get in there. You'd have to walk
oh.
on slime.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then no, I won't.
But my point is, if you want it, you got to figure out a way to get it. Is my point.
I gotcha. Well, I don't really want it that bad. It'd be interesting to know how caustic this stuff is. So, so if it's burning the boot, well, the boots. I need to see my boots. I'm wearing special boots actually, so I need to know their material, right? Oh, just plus 15 rune to swimming. So I guess my boots are leather, right? So it seems to affect leather.
Yes, and it seems to affect magical leather.
Yeah, yeah. What if I were to? Oh damn. See what else I got on me that I could throw in there just to see what happens. I just kind of grab a piece of paper from one of my journals, rip a page out and blank page and see if that affects it as well.
Right.
How quickly, just to get an idea.
I forgot to post our stuff up. Sorry.
Oh yeah, links.
Post this here. And then, so guys, I'm going to put in the chat our links to all kind of great stuff. Max's notes for his character sheet, personality. Also our donate page. Swing by there and give us some love, as well as Elliot Dunovitz, our artist for the Brise caricature, which is a little small right now, but she will be back to bigger size. But you can also see Brise's artist. They're at artstation.com, Tortillua. And take a look at Elliot Dunovitz's art. And we thank her for a terrific portrait for Brise.
No, it's a great job. We always take it for granted, but it's amazing.
It's good stuff. Oh, hey, I was going to tell you, and all our fans out there, there's a really cool documentary on Amazon that I watched last night during my goddamn insomnia.
Hold on, the company or the forest?
Yeah, I know they are interchangeable. One's diminishing and one's growing. But so it's called Eye of the Beholder, and it's about the growth of the fantasy art industry, in particular in relation to TSR and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
And it's really good. Like, I was so pleased to be able to put a face to names of all these big artists, like Brom, Larry Elmore, Jeff Easley. If you don't know who these people are, you really are missing some amazing fantasy art. And of course, Keith Parkinson, which is my favorite of that group. And they reference Frank Franzetta, of course, who was the famous Conan illustrator. So it's really interesting. It's just really fun to see these people and so on. Poor Keith Parkinson, who died like at age 54 of frickin' leukemia. Terrible. But his cover art for the book Fire Sea is one of my favorite fantasy images. It's so detailed, and it's just amazing. But anyway, sorry. So, hey, go visit those links and so on. And I'll be posting those occasionally. And we will, let's continue to rock and roll. Hey, what is that alarm? What is that saying? Weird. Off.
Time's up, I guess. That's all we have for tonight.
Well,
I mean, I don't see it on the screen. That's what you mean.
You don't see what on the stream?
You said alarm. I don't see anything on the screen.
I had an alarm on mine that was saying that we were actually offline.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
But it went away after I clicked on it. Like, I clicked on it and.
I meant to pull up the YouTube. I'll do that really quick and see.
Oh, interesting. My post did not make it to Twitch, for instance. Let's try to post that
Oh,
again.
okay.
These are
No,
our
I mean YouTube is up. So
Yeah, okay. And this time it made it through. Weird. Well, maybe there's gonna be a gap in this week's episode. We'll just have to deal with that as best we can, and
use your
we'll just
imagination.
use your imagination. Man, they probably talked about a documentary instead of playing the damn game again. All right, so that is one X creature of unknown.
Yeah, so I toss a paper that I rip out of my notebook into the slime.
Right.
What happens?
Oh, right, and you drifts down, and yeah, it is it just gets eaten up.
Oof, okay.
Uh,
Good to know this stuff is.
I'm trying to think what I should do here for like a dead body. Um, hmm, I don't know. I'll see what I can figure out for a dead body. So, um, let's do this. So I will make a black. There. I will make a black star, and that will indicate a dead body. There you go. So there's your corpse.
Wait, I wanna loot the black star. What is that?
What you find black light. That's where black light comes from.
It's
Yeah,
a funny icon to choose.
yeah, I know.
Looks
I
like
was
in like Discovery.
I was thinking about doing something like an X, but they don't have an X, um, and my keyboard doesn't have an X. I got a deal on this computer because of that. So,
Have an X.
um, you know, that's probably a lie that I'm telling you, but nonetheless. So there you go. So there's a corpse right there. The paper dissolves in a fume that is makes you cough and gag and back up. Um, and you notice something's different. And what is different is your boots um, have had their runic enchantment destroyed.
No.
The runes on them, even though they're higher up, they're not on the soles of the boots, are actually sizzling and melting off.
Oh my gosh. That was a plus 15.
Yeah, it was really nice.
How am I gonna swim now?
Well, as all beautiful women should swim, and that is naked. So
I need my boots. And nothing but my boots.
nothing but your
in my channeling helm. That's
and you're right.
teleport on moments.
That's right.
Let me
So
cross this out. Let me do a strike.
well, just cross the enchantment out. No doubt you'll need new boots probably by the end of this adventure because they are they have much like some politicians, they now have less soul.
Some.
That's right. So
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I will definitely avoid that slime trail. I mean, I'll look inside where the coins I kind of saw and try to peer in there. Is there anything else besides the coins? Look around as much as I can. I'll just send Laula in there. Just send her in the building.
Sure. Now that's now that it's safe, and you certainly you stop and listen, of course, before you send her into danger. And she hops in there, and there are other items, clearly from past encounters, and this creature, this thing, seems to enjoy them as trophies. They're set up and so on, but they all have sort of this caustic burn-like damage to them.
Oh,
This sort
man.
of dissolution, and so it's unusual. Like it had some sort of sense of collection or trophyism or that sort of thing.
Yeah, but it destroyed its own trophies.
Right.
It's like King Midas, but the opposite.
Right.
Everything I touch rusts. Well,
Right.
I'd like to go look at least some of those things. Maybe there are some high level enchantments that are still protected.
So you can have her just hop item to item, and if something seems particularly undamaged, you can decide whether to risk it.
Sure, yeah. We'll just see if anything looks worth it. and then we'll make
Um,
a side.
so there's my little random roller. What did I do with that? For equipment and stuff. Oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. So let's just say there's looks like there's 4 items in there. So like there's a bubba-dubba-dee-beep. So there's a chain shirt, and it is. I mean, it's clearly damaged. There is a ring, and it is it's eaten all the way through, such that it's more of a clasp than a ring. Um, there is a very nice table mirror. Like, it's not, it doesn't have a handhold. It has a very small stand. It's about 10 inches by 10 inches, and it clearly has fallen the into the slime at some point and fell on its back. The backing and top frame have been eaten away, and it's barely held together. But he's got it propped up in there. And finally, another piece of armor is there's a reinforced leather coat, which is one of the more. It's a soft leather coat that covers a good portion of the body, and unlike a jerkin, which is just a vest. And again, it's all damaged stuff. Um, wouldn't surprise you, of course, if the mirror were from the actual house.
Yeah.
So I know it's a bit unusual, but for reasons that we need not go into, I actually have to take a break right now. But it will
right.
be a quick break for reasons we need not get into. But we'll be right back. I
All
promise.
right.
So go grab yourselves something to drink and check out our donation page and look at the personality and notes for Brise. And we'll be with you just in a few minutes. Thank you, guys. See you soon. There we go.
Hello.
Sorry, gang. I may have disconnected us as I was leaving. I can't tell, but let me get the map back up, and we will continue this adventure. Laula was examining the creature's odd little collection of goodies,
Mm-hmm.
um, and um, you didn't really find anything that was um, um, valuable, except obviously the coins. Um,
Right. Which means I think I'll pass this up because it's like a big risk to go in here.
yeah,
I'm going to lose valuable equipment to the acid and then gain in not valuable equipment.
right. I mean, yeah, and if you found something of singular value that was small, it's possible Lala could bring it to you, but you're a person who doesn't just adore wealth, and so you're fine passing up coinage. You don't really care.
Yeah.
Mithril was a different matter, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I still wouldn't pass up Mithril, but I do have 9 Mithril, which is quite a lot.
that's a lovely amount.
Some.
Um, so
I think we can explore the other side of the stables, right, where there is no slime. Just do a quick look through there.
sure, you'll probably have to. Let me see if there's. I mean, it looks like you're going to just have to sort of climb in,
Okay.
and just be careful. Keep your eyes on the ground to make sure he just didn't slither back here. For various purposes.
What
And
doesn't slither back here?
if the creature had ever been back here,
Oh, I got you. If he had ever, yeah. I'm like,
right,
come back to life.
right. Yeah, none of the, you can't just sort of, you sort of test the various stable walls, the exterior of the stable walls, and they're not really given their, and you don't want to really bash them in and attract more attention to yourself. So if you just want to climb in, just give me a basic roll here and just don't fail.
Yeah, I've got climbing gloves as well.
Great.
64.
No problem. Hop up, swing a leg over, lower yourself down. There's brush growing here, reaching its limbs up through the open areas. Um, clearly, um, though, this to be the at least the race that used the obelisk is far older than the goblin presence in this area. Clearly, either the goblins rebuilt this home or simply adopted it from its earlier owners, because goblins definitely lived here.
Okay.
Names have been written or sort of engraved on brass plates in goblin, clearly the names of horses for each stall.
Oh.
And they're goblin, they're written in goblin characters, which of course you're experienced with. So the stall you're in is Snow Treader. That's the name of the horse that was here.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of make your way um, um, just from stall to stall to the extent that it seems worth your while to fight the brush.
Yeah.
He made it in about halfway. It looked like he slept sort of on a bed of grass and so on. And apparently, this grass in this area just is not affected by his caustic nature.
Yeah.
He sort of made a nest And you can see sort of the imprint of how he would typically lay with his
Mm,
great bulbous second half, and then his smaller humanoid half.
lovely.
Um, um, I should back up and say that orb that he emitted from his mouth fell to the ground,
Oh,
about the size of
oh,
a golf ball. Um, it's translucent, almost like the first, sort of half inch is translucent, and
yeah.
then it sort of becomes a milky, pearly sort of thing. Um, it's in the slime, of course. Um, I don't know how strongly you feel about trying to get it, but it is there if you want to
Yeah.
back up and have you retrieve it with your face.
Yeah, I'd like to just, apple bobbing basically. Grab it like that. Well, let me, I'm assuming they're source of water or something to get, clean it off.
Well, you can use what's in your you
Yeah.
can use your what's in your water skin. It's probably going to take about half your water skin.
Yeah. What I'm a little afraid of is, well, it's sitting in the slime now. So can I just clean it off where it is, or do I need to move it out of there first with something like a tree branch? You know?
I mean, I think that would be best. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you just
Yeah.
you find a stick and kind of put it out of there.
Yeah.
Um, the wood begins to react. That fume is just really unpleasant. Thank God for mountain breezes. Um, and so you knock it out of there, douse it.
Mm-hmm. I'll just take out my water and empty it over it.
Huh. It dissolves.
Ooh,
Huh.
okay.
Weird.
Weird. You're the gosh darn GM.
Yeah, but
Explain
this
this. I'm
it's
just curious.
sandbox for me too. I don't know what's going to happen, except for the
Well,
stables are actually a giant disguised serpent. That's why it's long and skinny.
but this is the crazy thing about that is you didn't know it was going to happen, and I didn't know it was going to happen, but now it's gone. So now we're both curious. Like, what was that?
It's funny, right? Like, because I was thinking, my first thought was, it's going to be really interesting to show that to people, right? And talk to them about, selling it as a potion ingredient and
Right.
all that kind of thing.
Right.
So, um,
And like when
uh,
it dissolves, it just to a fine liquid.
yeah, it dissolves almost into a clear liquid. It's a little gelatinous. Um, very curious. Um, I was wondering, from our early conversation about Brisa's earlier conversation about potion ingredients with
Yeah.
with Furl. Did you want to make a note that Strathros spikes are worth about a silver apiece?
No.
No, because you don't
Yeah,
really.
that's not much for
Well,
me.
right. It's and you're not a money person, so
He
yeah,
did say I did write a note that like the ones, which ones are more valuable, and
right.
they are in need of them. So like I do know that, but yeah, probably just like silver, okay. Kind of like how much was it again? I know it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, it was a silver. Yeah, silver a spike. So
Yeah, no, but thanks for the reminder.
yeah. So the um, so there you go. So then you climb in, you
Right,
explore.
right.
You make it about 2/3 toward the back before it just
Okay.
gets too dense, really, to move. Um, and you're just finding, yeah. I mean, goblins definitely lived here. They obviously had taken over the entire stables. They every stall had a horse in it at one time.
Wow.
Um, that deserved its own nameplate, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Well, we can hop out of the stables then if that's.
Hop out, you do. Um,
We'll move on down to the carriage house.
moving down to the carriage house. Where's Laula? What's Laula up to?
Lala is on top of the carriage house. Oh, you know what? Lala would
She was
go
watching for the hammer worm, wasn't she?
exactly going for that
Let's
thing in the
check in
ground.
on her because it's been a few minutes. She is keeping an eye out in those grasses, and the wind's picked up a little bit on her end of the estate, and those grasses are just moving, and for reasons unknown. I missed a T in courtyard. Um, so so she is having a devil of a time spotting it, just sitting and watching. If you want to send her on another, scouting mission fairly high up, then you can do that, of course. But
Oh yeah, okay. I'll just keep her over there in case I need to
watching.
check on that again. Yeah.
Um,
Walk and check out the carriage house.
so doors are all sealed up. Roof seems to be in good shape. No windows here at the front, but there are, there are three double doors that clearly indicate that three carriages could be parked. Now, these sorts of houses, can have doors in front and back, so that you could park a carriage
Yeah.
and not
Either
have to.
way,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Should saddle up to one of the doors and take a listen? If anything might be inside, moving about.
there is movement.
Mm.
Low scratching coming from fairly deep in the interior.
Okay.
Hey, because you're a girl, should I make it 2 triangles?
Yeah. Make it 3.
Side by side. Anyway. Um,
I mean, I am 102 for beauty, so
yes. You
gotta have the zonkers,
are berserkers.
the dunkers. I will. Okay, well, let's sneak up to one of the windows and peer inside.
So heading around to the back of the house, because there's no windows here on the front.
Righto.
Yeah, there are a couple of high windows. They're about shoulder high to you. It's where they start. Yeah, it's totally dark in there.
I was about to say, oh, I could see in the dark, but I'm playing a D&D campaign where the
Right.
has dark vision. Well,
dark vision is that ability to see where it might be dark. That's the special thing about dark vision.
Yes.
Hey, is that darkness over there? By God, I have dark vision.
Obi-Wan Karen says, please don't save the Zonkas. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't save the Zonkas. Oh, darn it. I'm just not talking.
There's an episode of QI that Obi-Wan and I love. The British panel show that I rave about. Mm-hmm. Stephen Fry. They're talking. There's a couple of female guests on the show, and they're talking about how they hate, as women, they hate the word breasts. They just hate it.
Really?
And like, can't we just call it something else, boobs, or just something else, or whatever? And Stephen Fry interjects. He goes, "I love the Americanism, titties." I just love that. Titties. And of course Stephen Fry is famously he's homosexual, and so the ladies look at the camera and go, "You've heard it here first, folks. Stephen Fry loves titties." And,
that's so good.
And apparently there's a British expression. I've not heard it in America, although I don't have many gay friends, so I can't say that I would have had a chance to hear it. But being on the turn means that that you're changing your sexual preference. And so
Oh,
they joke that he was on the turn, that
yeah, I've not heard that before. That's interesting.
yeah. So
Dude, ladies, watch out.
exactly.
That's funny.
Um, all right. So
So I
uh,
cannot see inside here.
no, it's just it's really dark. The windows here are strangely intact.
Do we? We could try. So I was gonna try to lure the worm creature out with with like making a noise, right?
Right.
Try to do the same thing. Just do a prank, like knock on the door and like run to the window.
Is this going to involve a flaming bag of poo?
Quite possibly, I
Because
can.
that would be hilarious.
I don't know that
Um,
spell, but
is that easier to read, or do
much easier actually. Yeah,
you prefer this? Okay.
I can see
Oh,
the grid too.
yeah. Okay. Good. I'll leave that then.
Now it
Um,
really looks like an engineering diagram.
okay.
But that's good. That's actually better, easy to see.
All right then. So
So yeah, I think I'll try to um, go and make some noise on the door, kind of rap on it a few times, and then hide around the side of the house and see if whatever's inside comes out.
okay. Knockety knock knock. No sounds. You sort of wait around the corner, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, what would you like to do?
I'll
Oh,
wait.
let's talk about state of readiness. What do you have in your
Oh,
hand?
yeah, good idea. I'm gonna have my spear, two-handed, uh,
Okay.
and we'll stay put for a minute, see if any other noise happens.
You wait a long while. There's a sound of movement, and it was uh, right sort of beyond through the wall to you, and you're
Oh,
like, I know they must have been right at that window.
damn! I
And
just oof. Wow.
so I mean, you're sort of semi crouched. You can't help but crouch when you're sneaking, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're sort of half crouched down, so you weren't visible easily from the window. But if they were right at that window and tall enough, obviously them looking out, they would have been able to see you.
Yeah.
If they saw you, they didn't take any action.
True.
Roll for me.
True. Interesting. 60.
It occurs to you that hey, when in doubt, I could, I you could use magical lock and lock the three doors.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would leave them bursting through the window, but not before they try those doors,
Right.
presumably.
Right.
You know what? Roll for me.
22.
Okay. Um, what now?
Well, so you said I hear some movement right on the other side of the wall and it stops.
Yes,
Okay.
and it sounded like it was going away.
Well, I'll peer around the corner and see if it goes to the doors. Doors.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound. I mean, yeah, you are peering around the corner because you were ready to
Okay,
act.
okay. And it just something like moved away.
So right, so something apparently had made it very quietly up to the windows, right by you.
I don't know. It's crazy. You don't know if it's something good or bad. You can't.
Yeah. And it's certainly that's the other thing I'm proud of in Karandrin is it's not always negative. It's just kind of can always be neutral and kind of odd and just interesting.
I guess we could. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what's in there, but I don't know a good way. I like wouldn't put myself in harm's way.
Right.
Could
I mean, if there's
like
any
open the
hole,
door from the side. Standing to the side of the door, throw it open and see if it comes out, whatever it is.
sure. Well, and there's also, of course, you've only seen two sides of the building.
Right. Keep going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we will keep going around to see the other side. Possibly more doors and more windows.
Right. All right. Roll the sneak for me. It'll take you 2 rolls to get over there.
7.
Yeah, you stumble, push your hand firmly against the carriage house wall to steady yourself. You freeze. Um, and it comes right to the window. It comes to the second of the 2 windows that are over here. And it is
A horror
peering.
movie.
It is peering, blinking against some of the sunlight. It is peering down at you. Um, it doesn't seem to be like holding itself up, which makes it really rather tall, probably 8 feet tall or something. It is light gray with sort of very smooth, almost shiny light gray skin. Its skull is very narrow, and it has this very smooth trunk and these 2 big black eyes. The trunk ends in kind of a little tusked, little spiked, almost rectangle of a snout, and it's pressed up against the window and kind of snuffling the window, and it's watching you.
What the heck?
It's one limb is propped up against the window, like its hand, and you can see its arm. It's it's very ungainly, kind of thin arms, though muscular, and these broad, clawed, almost webbed hands. Um, Roll for me.
Oops. 74.
It occurs to you, thinking back, none of those carriage doors on at least that side had been opened in years. The grass is just as high across them. There's no sign that the grass has been swept down.
Interesting.
There's also sort of a buildup of soil and plants growing up under it and things like that. There's just a great sign of disuse. So, if it didn't enter that way, and if there aren't any other entrances with those types of hands, does it dig?
Oh.
Did it burrow up into there?
Whoa.
But it just seems curious and seems to be watching you. It's as though it's trying to get a scent of you, but your guess is it's probably 8 or 9 feet high.
Wow.
It has no ears. Um, um, and it's just sort of squinting against the light and watching you.
Well, it has its hand up on the glass, right? So the only thing I have to do is then just meet my hand with it.
It's at the very top because it's so tall,
Yeah,
so
I
you
know.
won't be able to. Yeah, but you can.
I'm trying to make it cinematic.
Well, I mean, you could certainly wave at it.
Yeah, I will. I'll knows I'm here. I'll wave and call out to it.
Which brings me to The great short story by American short stories Bobby Ann Mason. You have to find her short story Shiloh, because it ends with him seeing his wife in the upstairs window, and he
Yeah.
just raises. It's just a great story. It's hilarious, but it's also very powerful. And he just
Yeah.
sees his wife with whom he's having great difficulties. Sees her undressing in the bathroom upstairs, and they see each other after this fight, and he just lifts a hand to her and waves, and that's where it ends. It's really a very powerful story. But
It sounds familiar, Shiloh.
mhm.
The title before.
um
But I will, yeah, I'll do exactly that. I will wave at my 8 foot tall, trunked wife.
I
Out here.
think every man deserves an 8 foot high trunked wife.
Fine.
Um,
As you please.
so it
And I'll address it in Thax. I'll just say, hello.
um, it kind of starts a little bit when you speak, um, and its trunk seems to mimic your hand motion. It raises up and then lowers, and then goes back to snuffling at the uh, at the window. Its breath is hot. It is steaming up the window.
Curious if I go in there, just thinking to start snuffing at me, I might
Sure.
not appreciate that. I mean, it seems peaceful enough. Why don't we um, try to go around the other side and see if there's any doors there in the carriage house?
Okay. I will move your little guy. So,
Talk to our elephant man.
you sort of stay at the corner so you have some cover. You see your outbuildings here, of course. Um, roll for me.
90.
Yeah, these doors haven't been opened in a decade. It's
Okay.
another set of three doors, so this thing can hold 6 or more carriages. Um, not that it's super important. The carriage house has a sufficiently peaked roof that they could have attic storage there,
Oh,
which is not necessarily relevant, except that it does mean that something could be living up there.
right.
It could be, if it weren't for this thing, it could be a nice dry spot for you to sleep. That sort of thing. You know what? We forgot about your horse. Where's your horse? I forgot where
Or
your
to
horse
the campsite, because this
is.
is
At the
just
campsite. That's right. This is just a few.
way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Before I go inside, we'll just have Laula take another look at the grass again.
Yeah, the breeze is just continuing, so there's all kind of movement in the grass. There's just
Mhm.
no
Clear sign of where that thing is again.
right.
Well,
Um,
I
you
think.
want to
Go ahead.
swing around to the
Oh yeah,
the
sure. We could just complete the perimeter.
roll for me.
40.
No sound of movement as you're going through. You give the outbuildings a quick look.
Mhm.
It's clear that a slime trail swings through the C and the H in carriage house there, and
Okay.
then cuts across to one of the nearest of the outbuildings there, the one straight above you and the carriage house.
Right.
Um, you sort of wait. Um, you don't hear anything. There are also slime paths heading further um, out and around that outhouse, heading further above it.
Mm. Yeah, hard to tell if they're all from the same guy or there might be another one.
Yeah, is there any real way to tell?
Just try to connect them, you know.
There is a difference. Interesting.
Oh my gosh.
It's definitively made by another creature. Another one of those creatures, I should say. It is definitively narrower.
Mm.
I mean, for all the length you can see, with the exception of the one that connects the two buildings, the stable and this other.
Right.
Um, its door is open. The slime does lead in there. I just don't want you to turn your back on that building.
Yeah, let's have Laula maybe flit around that one building and see if they could see inside.
Well, since she's going to be coming sort of from the mansion area anyway, you could have her cut far above you and then come down to you. She might see something. She might be able to see follow that slime trail.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the slime trails go here and there throughout this area on this side of the mansion.
Yeah.
The grass is just sort of, plastered down, like, as though by hair gel.
Yeah.
Um, and there are the remains of it's definitively the remains of a rather large hammerworm on one of those trails. It's got some age on it. There's a series of bones and a long, a series of ribs and a long line, vertebra and a long line. There are tatters of skin, but that head, I mean, that the head on that thing is really massive. I mean,
Yeah.
that thing could probably take out a horse.
Oh, here's something interesting. When you said it has age on it, do you mean it looks like it's been here for a while, or?
Yeah, there's not meat on it.
Yeah, but
There
then
are.
it's in one of the recent slime trails, or I guess I don't know that the slime trail is recent.
It's in right. It's in one of the slime trails, and unless you really, I mean, you can send her down there to see, is it still glistening, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
even then, I guess you'd have to know, how long. You haven't seen one that isn't glistening, is the thing,
Right.
and
They could
so
just
you don't know,
stay for a long
right?
time, yeah.
And so, but certainly suggests that the two creatures intersected each other,
Right.
and the hammerworm did not win. Um, so, so Laula is several hundred feet um, uh, above, sort of at the edge of the screen.
Yeah.
Um, um, she sort of, scouts tree to tree. There is more brush and so on. Um, Interesting. She makes it all the way to the the outbuildings,
Mhm.
particularly that longer one. It has lots of windows in it, so that rules out it being something like a forge or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's and you just have her hop window to window. It is definitively a nest of another one of these creatures.
Mhm.
Again, you have the stacked coins very neatly. Um, There's a single trophy sitting up near the entrance. It is. Let's see what that is. It is an hourglass. Still in great shape. No sign of burning.
Okay.
Covered in dust. She hops to the next window. Roll for me.
79.
No doubt this was a woodworking shop. Probably to do work on the carriages. But also, probably did household items too. Again, grass is piled up. No other trophies. I wonder what symbol I should make Lala.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to move it around a lot if you do.
There's a square star tool. There's a donut tool. That makes me laugh. We're going to use a donut. There you go. She is a donut. I think we all suspected. Come on. There we go. Because she's on your side, we'll make her green too. Oh, I still got this stupid thing on there. Hang on. We're working on it.
Any minute now.
Come on now.
Any minute now.
What now? Kill what character? I can't quite make you out. There we go. There you go. There's your little donut bird.
Hey.
So she came from way up here.
If she flies in the courtyard, she'll be well camouflaged.
I know. Oh, Lord. Okay. So window and then window, and she's coming around this way. Window. There are still workers' tables in there. This building's about, what's the number on this guy? Yeah, it's about, what is that number? It's almost 40 feet long.
Okay.
So it's like a small house. So it's like 1,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
And so, but then so very upsettingly, under a table in its sort of own little nest of grass are these baby maggot creatures.
Oh, man.
There has got to be a dozen hand-sized, squirming, moist, yellowed humanoids.
Moist and squirming. Wow. Hubba. Okay.
Well, call children's services. Abandoned children.
Yeah. I call them. It's like, where's the parent? They fell off a cliff. I definitely did not play any part in killing. Yeah, it was weird. So, but no sign of the other. I guess the other parent. It would be
right.
awesome.
There are tool hooks all over the place on the walls and so on. Shelves inside there, covered in mold and dust. There are tables for working, but the place has been emptied out. So,
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Well, here I might have to ask your opinion of this, Kevin, because I don't know if my character has a. So there's two questions I have. One, are these creatures evil, right? And then two is, how do I feel about murdering babies if they are?
No, I
Obviously,
understand.
babies don't pose a threat to me, right? But
Yeah, it's a weird one. So clearly, the
if I,
unnaturalness of these creatures and their upsets you originally. Like there's no
right,
sense to you that within your within the gods of your faith that this was any part of their creation,
yeah,
right? This is some
yeah,
distortion of it, and the clearly the adults grow up to be hostile.
right,
Um, so there's no doubt that these babies are evil.
okay,
Um, now,
and will grow up to do damage, yeah, to
yeah, just wanderers by or passersby.
right.
So I mean, why don't you just roll to see how you feel about killing them? And
Yeah, because like the way I'm thinking of it is like yeah, a lion attacks you, you obviously fight back and kill the lion, but you don't kill the lion cubs, right?
right.
But these are evil creatures, so I'll roll, see how I feel. That's a 7.
You really believe they should be destroyed, but you
Okay,
don't. You can't imagine. I mean, it's gonna take every bit of your willpower to attempt it.
oh, okay,
I mean, if you're gonna do it, if you Max decide to do it, you're gonna have to make a hell of a roll to
gotcha.
try to convince yourself to do it. And this is one of those things where, like, I don't care if your character just sticks around for days trying to convince yourself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because if you think your character would take that time for the debate, and I don't mean we play out the debate, but like if you just camp here and just go, I don't know what to do. I'm fine with that, and we can play that off screen, and and and
Well, I don't think I feel too conflicted. The big reason is that this is in the middle of nowhere. I'm if
right.
this was close to a city, or maybe what I will do is after exploring this is look around if there are any settlements nearby, and that might change my opinion, right? Like then, okay,
Well, you know of only one, and the only passerby that's likely are, well, as you've seen, poor people striking out, hoping to find either a mining claim or a bit of decent farming.
right, right,
Like the elven couple that you encountered, who
right,
obviously had bad luck. Or yeah, you also know that there's the one village in the settlement on the other side of the mountain, but they're quite far away.
right.
And sorry, the last one, of course, is
And I was like, this place is so long abandoned. Like if that
right.
village would have come here, they would have done something. Yeah,
Well, and you could see that the elven couple would have been like, "Oh, this is where the grass grows great here. There's trees we can cut down for firewood,
right,
and there's a home already built."
right. Very
And
nice home.
yeah, I mean, they would have turned what was basically the gardens and grounds of this estate. They would have plowed them
Right,
and been grateful for pre-built stables and all this kind of stuff. That, yeah, they need repair, but it just saves them a lot of time.
right.
So that's not the big problem for you. The big problem is, well, if I kill if there is another parent here and I kill it, am I just leaving these babies to die slowly?
Right. Am I doing the same thing? Yeah.
I mean, it's not
True.
a fun choice. It's kind of a very creepy choice, and there's not going to be a good answer. Um,
Well, I think I'll definitely try not to run into that creature. And if I do run into it, because I rolled that 7, I should try to do anything to not kill it.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Because, yeah. Um, and again, that's just because this is just an abandoned place. I don't really feel obligation to kill them because they're not posing a danger.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's good that I did that roll. So mark that down. Um, okay, well then I'm gonna leave. Uh, you know,
So you're
There
sorting
is that
out.
hourglass, but I don't know if I want to go in and get that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and it's got slime on there, but
yeah,
could you?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, could you figure out a way? And that's just a question. Um, you have peeking around the corner of the carriage house. It has two big windows like the other side.
Yeah.
Um, you're you don't see anybody out. Your angle's not great. You don't see anybody at them.
Okay.
Um, although now that you look at them, the pattern on grime on them is not uniform. They have been wiped off from in the interior before, and
Okay.
you can guess who did that.
Hmm.
So, setting aside for the moment, avoiding um, visiting Mother Maggot. um,
Maggot.
it does. So, what do you wish to do, if anything, in regards to interacting with this strange creature in the carriage house?
Well, I do. Me being so many interested in creatures, and now I'm even more interested that it could possibly dig its way in here. How it got in here. I do
Right.
want to try to open up the doors and you know interact with it. Still having my spear, out in case it does
Yeah.
get aggressive or anything.
So you've got three doors, on this side that you're sort of,
Right.
kneeling beside. But those are in plain view of um, that
This
woodworking
house here,
shop.
yeah. So I might go around to the
And
other side and try to force those open.
which of the doors there do you want to try? Bottom corner, like down here.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
Okay.
just try each of them in the first one that opens, I think, with little effort, if any.
Um, yeah, you're probably going to have to do some digging and chopping just to
Yeah.
clear away vegetation and so on. Um, it goes well. You stop every now and then. Where do you want to send Lala?
I'll have Lala on the corner of the carriage house looking out for, if this
Mama?
creature makes a return. Yeah.
All right. Um, all right, great. Um, I should, I should take a picture of you, Matt. Oh, you know what? You should send me the Brise thing. I guess. Does Karen have a Brise image? I should take the Brise image and make it tiny, and we'll just have you moving around.
Oh, yeah. Little tiny Bruce.
That's right. Brise that. Um, so the it goes pretty steadily, and you just kind of want it enough where you can open it and slip in.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and so
Well, I want to open it a little bit more in case I need to make an exit, right?
oh, that's
I
true.
don't know if this thing is
Yeah, you're
super
right.
big yet.
I was thinking you would want it just narrow so that it would not be so that it would be easier to stay shut, and not just flop open. But I
Mhm.
can see that, yeah, it
The
would
escape
be
is more important.
right. Um,
Unless
so
you know something about this creature that I don't, Kevin. I mean, you're willing to
I
tell
always
me
know things.
whether it's safe or not.
That's right.
And
So
half this damn game just tiptoeing around something, and then it's like just a raccoon, and I'm like, what? Okay.
well, that's what I find about, like, that's one of the neat things about Karandrin as opposed to other games, because in the other games so many things are hostile. Um, you always tiptoe around, and you won't take any chances, and
Yeah.
in Karandrin you'll take some chances because that
There's
this
a
world isn't out to
possibility.
get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so all right. So it goes very well. The ground, you were just worried that the ground would be just so knotted with roots and
Mhm.
grass that it would just take um, They take you forever, but you really, it really comes off very, very easily. The ground is very soft. Um, they really could have plowed this land and made something out of it. But they, so yeah, so you get it done. It's, and you realize here, just unnatural, just naturally, you're cleaning it on, and then you go and you unlatch the doors, and you go, oh, right, they latched from the outside. These creatures, unless they had bashed their way out, they were
Oh yeah,
trapped.
yeah. Or
Um,
however got in if he couldn't do that again.
right, and so you,
Interesting.
so let's talk about then how you're going to approach this, how you're going to approach your entry here. Let's talk about what's in your hands.
I'm just gonna have my spear in my hands, so it
Are
gives me
you
reach.
are you thinking like diplomatically would it be beneficial to sing? Boo
Yeah.
boo boo boo. Psh,
Oh, I
boo,
haven't heard that in a
boo.
long time.
I know I hadn't done it. I
I do
thought I
not
got to
miss
bring that
it.
back. You don't miss it,
No.
oh, motherfucker. All right,
I mean, I did until you did it. Again.
and now you've had your fill,
Yeah,
is what
for
I'm
about
hearing.
3 weeks.
um,
Quinn says he's waiting for Brees to come across a squadron of moose roaming the forest looking for PCs to mug. Oh, playable characters. I was like, PCs? Like, how do you mug
all
a
right,
computer?
and that's a line from Rollmaster. In fact, from Rollmaster Second Edition, that's a line talking about how to run a world. And
Really?
yes, and so it was a line that Quinn and I love. It's in character. It's technically in campaign law, and it talks about how to run inhabitants and things like that. Let me see. Uh,
Wow. So I was about to, Quinn, I was about to say, you're all original. That was pretty funny, but here you are just being a copy pasta wizard.
right. Where is it? Is that it? I was trying to find it. Unless I'm wrong about the world, the land, water, mountains. No, it's not there. I can't find it. Um, but yeah, it's really kind of funny. Just they're saying not everything is going to attack you.
Right. Right. He says he
So
thinks it's from MERP.
oh MERP, yeah, Middle Earth role playing,
Right.
which I think I've told you before is I think the best one book system ever done for fantasy and stuff like that. The only thing that it lacks, I mean, you need creatures, but it's so easy to make creatures for that game,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and you need magic items, but
Mm.
But all the magic items in Rollmaster are perfectly translatable to
Oh,
MERP.
sure. Yeah.
And so, because it's a MERP is a simplified version of Rollmaster,
Right.
and it was a really good system. So, um,
And not to keep distracting, but Obi-Wan Karen says you have a mini Brees in your inbox.
oh, that is hilarious.
So we have
That is
we have obviously some fan mail. Someone sent us a mini Brees.
that's right. Well, let's see if I can do that. Although I think I'm in a weird. Oh, here we go. That's really funny. Man, why is this thing?
Carol, don't pop up your email in your in this window here. Everyone's gonna know what kind of products you're using.
Oh, but it's not. Oh no, I'm sharing a specific window. So,
Oh, okay.
oh, I'm opening it. I don't want to open it. All right. Um, well, before you plunge in here, what do you think we about taking another break really quickly, and then we can have you plunge in and play for another hour?
Sure. Sounds
Does that
good.
sound good? All
Does
right, gang. We're going to take the plunge, and then we're going to take a break. Wait, no, take a break. Then we're going to take the plunge.
Yeah.
So, so bear with us, and we'll be right back with you guys in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with you in just a second. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. I appreciate it. We are back. Um,
So
um,
is our pen. Welcome,
oh,
everybody.
hey, Arpin. Good to see you. And we are we're about to enter a carriage house on an abandoned estate in the Goblin Mountains. We know that inside is
Dr. Seuss creature.
no, in some ways, yeah, sort of this lanky, shiny, gray skinned thing with this trunk um, that kind of ends in a squarish kind of snout with little tiny little um, tusks at the end, little spikes at the end. Um, it's been watching Brise through the carriage house windows. It has since retreated from the windows, or at least has no longer appeared at the windows. Brise is very curious about creatures, and she kind of wants to try to interact with it. Um, and so the carriage house doors here have been sealed over time, just with grass and erosion sort of building soil up on them as the rains carry soil down from the mountain. And she has just cleared off the one of the six uh, carriage doors, and she is about to enter, and she is going to have what in her hands, just to be ready for the unexpected.
I'm going to have a spear, and I'm going to have my floating lantern lit and ready to go.
Okay. Anything in your other hand?
No, I think just spear, two-handed.
All right. I just splashed water on my glasses, which is hilarious.
Ha! God, I hate that. And then you try to clean them off, and they get all smudged. And it's like,
Yeah. I'm just going to peer through the drops and assume they're my tears. Um, all righty. Well, here, we could even. So I'm using the illustration program Affinity to be our map program. And
ooh,
I
very
could
nice.
zoom way in. Also,
Oh,
I
yeah.
should say to our anyone watching that so the little circle at the corner here, if you can see my cursor, is that's our Lala. We decided to use a donut. That's Lala. She is perched on the corner of the carriage house, watching for trouble. The star
And before
is
you think there's a girl on top of a 10-foot building, it's a bird. Don't worry. Lala's a star.
right, right, exactly.
For any of you that have forgotten.
The corpse, this black star is a corpse of this strange, sort of half human, half worm that Brise has killed some minutes ago, probably almost half an hour ago now. And each square is about 10 feet. So, um, so you pull the door open. Easy enough. You've got it where you're pretty sure it'll swing about 3/4 of the way. Um,
Get my floating
and
lantern lit and floating.
you want to just send it on in.
Yeah, actually, good idea.
Um, so it's some light, of course, spills into that first quarter. Um, um, and the there are three of these creatures.
Ooh.
They are about 8 feet high. Um, they are crouched. Um, um, they're watching the door. Obviously, your digging was not entirely silent. Not that you really expected it to be. Um, Um, they have been sort of waiting for you. Um,
Okay.
so you see they're 30 or 40 feet away. Well, I should change the color. Don't really know.
Yeah, I was kind of like green. They're allies.
Wait a minute. Why would it not let me change? It's so dumb.
There it is. Oh, you can't do multiple?
I know, it's so weird.
That is
Why would
weird.
you? Let's try it this way. Mm, There we go. Let's go for this. Give me a brighter blue. Well, there you go. So the green arrow is Brise and her facing. Not really to scale, of course, because she's not really 12 feet long. Um, these guys, they have genuine weapons, not crudely made anything.
Okay.
They have them in their hands. They shield their eyes from the light. They wear very simple sort of loincloths and multiple belts across their chest and
Wow.
waist, carrying tools and pouches. Those do look uh, homemade, fur, that sort of thing. Um, so one has a falchion, which is the sort of heavy Arab sword.
Yeah.
One has a morning star, which is the handle, ball, and chain with spikes. Um,
Jeez.
and another one has a short sword. Um, um, the one in the center stands to his full height. You notice that they are without ears, any outer ear that you can see. They have those big black eyes facing forward. Um, he he stands and he makes this motion to you with his weapon in hand. It's a very odd motion. Like if you're reaching out to swim,
Yeah.
like this.
Okay.
That's what he does to you. He's got his weapon in his hand, so he's kind of doing this, and then he stands there and he does it to you again. Um,
I'm
they,
uh, I'm gonna put my weapon down. It's right at my feet. I still have my bolas at my belt and my dagger, but just show that. Okay, you guys have outnumbered me. I'm not gonna try to intimidate you, and I'll stand back up and
just sort of wait for them.
yeah. See if that's what he was signaling, or maybe something else.
Roll for me.
Okay, 6.
Um, you're just focused on the center one. He is very curious
Yeah.
that you've done that. He looks to the others. Um, um, he looks to your lamp, your floating lantern, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I need an icon for the lantern, but we'll not worry about that right now. And it's so funny. What if you put Lala perched on the lantern? Anyway, and he makes that same sort of weird swimming gesture toward the lantern, and then looks at you.
Man, I'll move the lantern, command the lantern to come back toward me, just so they're in very dim light.
Okay, so maybe probably a little behind you.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and roll again for me.
1.
Roll again and subtract it.
Oh Jesus, 78, -77.
That's our boy. Um, so it's yeah. I mean, they the other two. I should probably bring him a little forward. The other two, they clearly relax and they stand and they look to what must be their leader, who has sort of taken that forward position. Um, and 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 they're sort of, they're kind of befuddled by your behavior.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
the leader looks to the other two, um, and he clearly speaks to them in the sort of series of sort of grunts and moans that's very quick. Um, there don't seem to be any sort of like what are called
structure.
aspiratives, which is
Yeah.
pa, ka, ta, those little sounds that we make that have a little puff of air behind them.
Right.
Um, there's no, it just seems to be all sort of vowel sounds with some grunts. And um, he, he, the, our would-be ruler, our apparent ruler, gestures to the lamp, and then does this sort of just a clutching motion.
Okay. Let me think. So I'm trying to think, what do I want out of this situation? I want to try to communicate with them. Obviously, they're like intelligent, but don't know how I would do that. I can't really still not have like any magic item for like understanding the languages or anything. I really do need to get that. Maybe maybe it's time for a miracle roll to see if
Oh yeah.
understand like what these things are, if they have some importance to me. I'm not sure what I could roll for though.
Right. Yeah.
There's all these interesting situations in Karandrin Rollmaster. Basically, I just can't. Again, I can't communicate with these guys. I could offer them some like paper, and then I know I could read it if they had a writing of any sort.
Could you draw a message?
Oh, true. True. Yeah. I'm just curious. So is there a hole like around where they are standing? Do they actually dig through here?
And you can't believe you've missed it. Roll for me.
74.
Dear Lord, there is a carriage-sized mound of earth
Oh my gosh.
um, that they have then uh, patted down. I mean, you can sort of see their big handprints in
Right.
it. They've patted it down, and it's sort of these three platforms that they've made in these rectangular platforms.
Mm.
And just from the impressions on them, they sleep on these platforms.
Oh.
But that is the tunnel is so neatly dug, so burrow is so neatly dug, and it too is padded down,
Right.
but it goes down.
Mm. Let's see. Um, well, what I can't see without the light, so I think I'm gonna have to ignore his request to turn out the light. I'll just try to move it a little further back, but I still need to be able to see them. Um, you know, satiate him, and then I'll point at the hole. Um,
Oh, did you want to draw a message?
well, I don't know what I would draw. I think I'll just continue, like, just try to point instead. I'll just point at the hole. And
Roll for me.
19.
Hmm. You know, winning favor, if he is a leader, you know, give a gift. Now, of course, what they will think as a gift, I don't know.
Yeah, true. Um,
I think the chat should start suggesting possible gift certificates that these creatures would appreciate.
I mean, anything the chat suggests is probably more useful than whatever I'm doing because what the heck. Well, yeah, so I'll move the lantern back a bit for now and point at the hole and see if they kind of respond with anything else. Yeah, actually, giving a gift, that would be a good idea. Maybe I'll try to do. Got some gems.
They, tilt their heads at you. They turn. They kind of have a consult with one another. This leader, I'm clicking on the stream, not on my thing, backs up a little bit, points to your spear, and makes the clasping motion.
And I don't know. Well, yeah. Okay. I like the idea of giving a gift to them. So I'm looking through my stuff. Maybe I'll give them those mithril framed glasses that I just found.
Okay.
It seems a pretty nice thing. So again, I'll just pull that out of my small pouch here, and the spear's going to stay on the ground there. I'll take a few steps toward him, holding it out.
He glances at the others. He takes one great stride towards you. And, he reaches for it, and you just set it in his giant, frying pan size hands.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
I'll take a step back and observe what he does with it.
He looks at them. He shows it to the others. And he he sets his weapon down. He lifts his hands up and opens his hands wide and closes his eyes. And then he resumes his normal posture and picks his weapon up. He reaches into a pouch and pulls out this large root. It's about the length of your forearm, weighs 2 or 3 pounds. It's been very well cleaned. It's been cut with something very sharp. And he takes another stride towards you and he extends to you this root.
All right. I'm just like thinking of like an MMORPG or something. It's like you received mysterious root. I don't know what the heck is going on, but I'm making progress.
That's right. That's really the key, is to make progress.
Well, yes, I can. I'll repeat his gesture. Just can't hurt, right?
Right.
And I'll pick up my weapon as well after I do that.
Okay.
And that might be the end of this, unless they do something else.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to? Gesture to the tunnel again? Do you? I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess. Exactly like that. I'm not sure. I could do a lot of things. I guess. We might take a lot of time just going through things. Okay, I'll do the gesture again, and I'll I'll point to me and point to the tunnel.
They turn and have another consult. He gestures at the glasses, and they all sort of admire the glasses. Their nose probe it very, very thoroughly, and then he he raises his fist and he clenches it, and they sort of step. They step aside and gesture for you to follow. This is going to be very interesting. And the leader marches into the tunnel entrance.
Oh man, God, I got to do it, Kevin. I got to find out what's in that tunnel.
This is sandbox role playing. I don't, you
Do
know,
it.
I now
Do it.
you got a
I know my
question about
characters.
what
Go
about
ahead.
Laula?
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing
She's
wrong with her.
900 feet. She could just follow at a distance. I mean, they might notice her.
Oh, what do you? I mean, it's unlikely that they've. I mean, since they have
Well,
access to the windows, they've probably seen
yeah.
birds.
I mean, Lala could just be on my shoulder. They may not.
Sure.
I'll just bring Lala in my shoulder and proceed towards the tunnel entrance.
All right. There you go. On your shoulder.
Got to group me. Yeah, group them together.
I always forget where that function is. I don't know why it would be under layer. That doesn't make any sense
When
to
you
me.
right click on it.
Oh, I might be able to. Let's see. Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
Um. So down you go. I need to. Let me do this really quickly. Let me just do the. hmm, Do. Oh, that's nice. Bed. 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 Save this bad boy. Um. Well, as always, you know. Um. Oh, I need to take. Let me see. Do. Give me just a moment, gang. 'Cause I've never done this with Affinity. There we go. um, no, not there. Nah, it's fine. We'll just do this. Oh no, I can't do it that way. Oh, I have to do it this way. Where's the other donut? That's weird. Oh, it's a group. I see.
Karandrin role playing, everybody.
That's right. It's about using.
I'm just messing with you. I love some of these like tools that they give for like role playing, and they're just so
Yeah.
complicated and hard to use. It's like I'd rather just keep track of it myself. Like the Forge is one where it's got like a lot of really cool features, and I use it for D&D, and it's amazing. It's really powerful. But when something goes wrong, you just spend like 10 minutes debugging it. It's like
Right.
it takes you out of the game.
Right.
But this is simple enough. You kind of just mess around with it.
So yeah, it is kind of because basically all those programs, all they are illustration programs. I mean, that's all they are.
Well, right, but like Forge, it has D&D formulas built into it. So it's like, okay, if you
Right.
level up, here's your extra HP, here's your extra damage, here's all.
Right. It does have the character stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really nice. You never miss anything, right?
Right. So yeah, well, we're gonna back out of here. This has
Yeah.
become
Now I do have my weapon on me.
you
Still
do
not.
or don't.
I
Oh,
do. Still
you
not
do.
super trusting. Slow to trust.
Right.
Be pretty wary of these guys.
Um, well, this is definitely interesting. Um, Definitely interesting.
Where are we gonna go?
We'll just start here, I guess, and you know. I gotta remember this is.
Building the map as you go.
That's right.
Would you want to use a pen tool just to literally like draw the tunnels?
Well, I thought about that, but I thought I can just do these bricks, right, and go. Well, this is a passage. This is a passage, and we'll just
They
leave.
always take at right angles. Okay.
Well, I can always rotate them, but they
Well,
are. The thing is, they're very smooth, um, and as you walk down them, and they've made a slope down. The ground looks like just as like it's been padded soft, padded smooth, right?
Well, before we say how anything looks, I obviously can't bring my lantern in, right? So
I
can I
don't
see
know. Oh, that's
anything?
true. Why can't you bring it?
Because they're kind of upset by it. It seemed
Well, you
I'll
could extinguish it if
okay, well,
that.
yeah, I mean that's what I meant. Like I'll extinguish it, bring it to me. But yeah, I don't think I can use it down here.
Doop doop doo. That's so funny to me. I can make another group. I'm gonna bring them up. Um, there you go. This is really funny. This is so weird. You've done all kind of things. So, um, you walk for a while. When you get to the bottom, even walking on the slope, you're like, it's more than this has been packed harder than I thought.
Hmm.
My foot feels like it's making contact with a like a thin layer of concrete.
Yeah.
Um, and here and there in the corners, um, it there is, especially as you go down, the light is still spilling from the door.
Hmm.
It is you can see in the corners almost glistening sort of globules. Um, um, they stop about where we are now, maybe a little deeper in.
Hmm.
And the leader turns to you. He's in front there, and he gestures to your lantern and waits.
Lantern that's extinguished.
Yes.
Okay. Um, I don't. I get. I'm not sure what that means. I guess he wants me to leave it behind. I'll set it down. Um, take it out of the air and just set it down. I mean, is that what he wants?
Um, they look at each other, and then he gestures to it again.
Okay. I'll. There's only one other thing I can do is light it. I'm afraid what that'll do down here, but can I have a reasoning roll? Do they? I
Yeah,
don't. I
sure.
don't know.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just don't know. 42.
The only thing you can think of is to light it.
Okay, I'll light it then. I'll pick it up.
You light it, um, and they turn on their merry way, and they're content for you to have it. And apparently, they know that your type cannot see down
That's
here.
yeah. I guess that was my thing I arrived at.
Um,
Nice of them then.
right.
Have it.
Um, so you come to a larger room. I gotta be careful here how large I make these things because I forget these are 10 feet. That's pretty big. So, what? How did that happen? Oh, I selected the wrong one. That's how that happened. You idiot.
No rounded rectangles.
What happened to my fill? That is so weird. Why did my fill go away? That is so weird. Fine. So you come to a larger room. You hear movement ahead before you even get there,
Hmm.
and it's clearly a small guard room. Small in that these large figures make it look small. Um, there are um, there are four um, of these beings in here. They are armed. Um, um, and they're just sort of sitting around on earthen benches. Um, and at your approach, you hear the movement of them. What's clearly, rising,
Mm-hmm.
and one meets you guys. Um, um, oh, that's the wrong. What the heck happened there? Oh, it's right here. That's what always happens. One meets you guys as you come down the corridor, um, and and a couple join you. There is a conversation, um, and
Okay.
they are very curious about you guys, and he shows them the mithril spectacles that you found. Oh, I guess we should mention that to our. I forgot that was a part we didn't mention to our audiences. That was he found. I'm sorry, Brise found
Yeah.
when we did some of our off-screen stuff. Found these mithril spectacles, very nice with a pearl chain on them.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably worth quite a bit.
Probably worth quite a bit, and that's what he's given as a gift here. Um,
I was really like hoping they would just like take it and like throw it over their shoulder. Like, what is this?
right. So they the guy that meets your group at the sort of guard room is he gestures to two of his comrades. They nod and pass you in the hallway. Um, you know, and you begin to notice these guys. They just smell wonderful. It's like earthy flowers.
Oh,
Um, it's amazing. I rolled 180 for good versus or bad versus good, high being good. They smell just wonderful. Um,
that's really funny.
just to warn you, it is 9:20.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, any point we stop it would be good because this is all just uncharted territory. So
Yes.
another big cliffhanger, basically.
Yes, it's yeah, kind of neat. You guys are allowed to pass through. And um,
So did they? I mean, they had a conversation. You said right? They
they had a
communicated.
conversation. The guy who met you at the door gestures to two of the men, and um, um, they pass you by. Remember,
Right.
and it's them. So now that you're like in close quarters with four of them, as they're passing you, um, you are. Um, you just notice the scent, and you're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they smell fantastic."
Yeah.
Um,
I'm also keeping my eyes out for any writing. Anything that would help. So then I could actually like, if there's any papers, anything written on the walls, they have any
right.
system writing, that would be can whip out my spectacles and maybe have a chance to communicate with them.
He's like, "Oh, another gift. That is
Ah,
terrific."
takes the no. In in our world, you gift glasses to one.
only,
Yeah.
only. Um, oh Lord, to lock all this junk. Um, I guess I could group all this, couldn't I? Um, well, really, of course, it should be on its own layer, but you know,
Mhm.
I need
So
access
I
to
guess
it.
I'm trying to think ahead too. They might take me to some authority of theirs. Yeah, and at
Oh, dear Lord.
which point I'll kind of be at the same situation.
Right.
Communication. But then again, maybe this authority has more resources to communicate.
Right. Um, you guys turn to the right. Um, oh, right. I've got them grouped. That was not the right thing to do then. So, jeez Christ, why does it keep doing that? Okay, let's figure
These
that out.
tunnels are there's an earthquake going on or something. You keep moving
That's
around.
right. So, um, that's not the right guy. You guys, head down here.
Mhm.
And there's, a sense. I mean, you can obviously see that the map goes that way, but more to the point, your ears pick up the fact. You know what I mean? Um, that there's space behind you, and at
Right.
a glance, you can see it goes down. You can see there's a couple of passageways that break off from this one, um, and um, yeah, I'm trying to think where it would be interesting for them to take you. Probably to some place where you could be processed into food.
Yeah.
What? What?
Whoa. Well, actually, I
Um,
was gonna say maybe this is a good time to stop, but we need
sure.
maybe some time
Um,
to plan ahead.
well, no, I mean, because I keep doing this, but it is getting close to our quit time
Right.
anyway.
Right.
Um, so there you go. Here in the land of the underground dwellers,
Okay.
we have a whole new little
World.
chapter. Yeah, and world. That really is um, a good point there. So
I was interested. I was going to ask. My character's interested in other worlds, but that's kind of like a broad term, right? Like that could just mean, you know, odd places, which this kind of is, but or it could mean specifically like that sense of knowing you're not on this plane of reality or whatever.
right.
That's purposefully vague or not, but I thought it's kind of funny.
Yeah, always interesting.
Always.
Mountainside is misspelled. My bad. I
That's how it's
corrected.
spelled in Karandrin.
Yeah, corrected it in one area only to find another error. Not that this is the most relevant caption now, because now. Um,
No.
well, there you go, gang. That's where we are in in Karandrin. Is this strange encounter with this underground culture that seems to be reasonably reasonable.
Yeah.
Um, so, thank you all for joining us. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Um, so, always, I'm gonna put you right there. And we're gonna, keep doing this and having a good time with it. And we'll see what happens next time. I'll go and work on the map somewhat, and see just how far dear Brise gets. Um,
Deep into the rabbit's burrow.
yes. What is the date today in our playing?
Today is the 22nd.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
this
we're
is
probably late afternoon because I remember I came early afternoon, teleported back from the keep to here. So
right. Yes, I would say so. Um, well, all right. Well, craziness. Thank you guys for joining us as always. You know, when you have a chance, hop and take a look at Brise's notes and so on. You'll find those at the in the description of our YouTube video and Twitch videos. I'll also post the links up here. You can also hop to our donate page and send us some love. We always appreciate that. as well as checking out Elliot Dunovitz's page at ArtStation. We thank her as always for
Yeah, you can see
the.
all the links if you want to change the format there. Or
Oh,
do it.
right. Thank you for reminding me, sir. Boom. Haha, that's what you wanted.
Mwah.
And check out Max on YouTube as well, where he discusses video game music and music generally in gameplay as well as the original soundtracks. We thank you for hanging out with us, and as always, we had a good time. So hop along, Crapsody. I'm really confused.
So
Um,
Obi-Wan Karen is talking about a website. I don't know. Website.
Oh yeah, yes, we're close to getting the website up,
Yeah.
and
I
we're
don't,
going
I
to
don't know
be
if that was
working
like
on.
public news or not, but yeah, we're going to try to have a website up.
Yes, we keep talking about it, and it's being designed as we speak. You always direct your buddies to come and subscribe, and you subscribe and like and follow, and take a look at all the cool stuff we've done. And we'll be posting on the website as well various things about the game. I'm working on big documents to post things like dragons and gods and all this kind of stuff. We'll also be doing a lot of posting on Reddit in the coming week, encouraging traffic and interest in the world that I've built and I love letting players kick around in. So, Max, is there something you want to say to these lovely people?
Well, all I want to say is that hope we see you all next week for episode 22. See what happened in the
Yes.
underground world.
Yes. And it should be fun and interesting. I thought you were going to run into Mommy Maggot this episode, but you didn't.
You sound like you
Um,
really wanted me to. I don't know why. It's as
well,
if you're
I
against Brise.
they're interesting. They are interesting critters. They're certainly very idiosyncratic. But well, thank you, everybody. Check out the links, spread the word. As always, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll see you next Wednesday, barring medical disaster on my part. And we just thank you all for your love, support, and participation in the chat. One where Brees dies. That's so funny. Quinn hates your guts, Max. Say goodbye to these people, Max, before Quinn says something else.
Bye to everyone except Quinn.
That's right. Take that. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.